Partly because of the Industrial Revolution that happened earlier before the World War, technology had advanced like never before. Such technology includes the enhancement of weaponry, communication, economy, and etc. In addition, nationalism was widespread amongst the European countries, hence the motivation to expand and colonize. This will increase the reputation of one's country greatly.
Now let's take a look at the simplest weapon, the pistol!
Whoops, that's pretty deadly. Well, this pistol, the Luger pistol, was first developed by George Luger. It was adapted by the Swiss Army and then later adapted by the German Army during 1908.
This handgun was the most widely used handgun during the 19th century. It is estimated that 1.5 million of these handguns were produced by the Germans during World War I.
Now let's move on to the next advanced weapon. The rifle was the main weapon for the British Army. It can fire 15 rounds per minute and kill a person 1,400 meters away.
Wow, this is a heavy gun. This is an example of a bolt action gun. So what it does, what a soldier has to do, is that every time he shoots, he has to reload it. Now that's pretty slow. So this gun was introduced in 1907. It was adapted by the British Army during the beginning of the World War I.
This is the Lee Enfield gun. It was created in 1907. During the outbreak of World War I, the British Army purchased a massive amount of these as a main infantry weapon. It could fire 15 rounds per minute and could accurately kill someone in 600 meters, but can kill someone in 1,400 meters.
Let's recap. If thousands and thousands of enemy come your way, then what do you do if your rifle's not strong enough? Of course, you use the machine gun. Oh, it's not working right.
Give me that. These heavy machine guns takes 4 to 6 men to operate at the same time. Now it has to be on the flat surface in order for it to work. Plus, these guns, they have the firepower of 100 previous guns. Even larger field guns has a much longer range, and they take up to 12 men to operate them at a time. The field guns, they fire shells that explode on impact, which could be deadly to the enemy.
Mustard gas was the most deadly weapon used. It was fired into trenches and shells. It is colorless and takes 12 hours to take effect. Effects include blistering skin, vomiting, sore eyes, internal and external bleeding, and death can take up to 5 weeks.
The Gardner gun was first demonstrated in 1879. It was a 2-barreled weapon operated by a crank which loaded and fired each barrel in turn. In public trials, the gun fired 10,000 rounds in 27 minutes. This impressed military leaders from Britain, and the following year, the British Army purchased the gun.
Just imagine, green smoke surrounds you. You have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You breathe it in, and your throat just starts burning. The German army was the first to use chlorine gas at the Battle of Ypres in 1915. It causes burning sensations in the throat and chest pains, and you will actually suffocate to death.
So next up in the documentary, we visit a military camp. Hey, you okay, man?
I don't feel so good, man. My eye.
What's happening to you?
Oh, my skin, is it peeling? What the? Oh my God,
Hey.
there's blood.
Soldier, you okay? Hey, are you okay? Medic! Medic!
However, the problem with gas bombs is that the weather must be right. If the wind is in the wrong direction, it could end up killing your own troops rather than the enemy.
Tanks were used for the first time in World War I at the Battle of Somme. The first tank was called Little Willie.
Did you call my name?
No! And needed a crew of 3. The more modern tank was not developed until just before the end of the war. The Little Willie was an armored tracked vehicle that would provide protection from machine gun fire. In World War I, Colonel Swinton was sent to the front to write reports on war. After observing early battles where machine gunners, he wrote that a patrol tractor on the caterpillar principle and armored with hardened steel plates would be able to counteract the machine gunner.
Although the performance of the Little Willie was disappointing, Ernest Swinton remained convinced that when modified, the tank would enable the Allies to defeat the Central Powers.
Blimps were also used since the first stages of war. They were used for bombing raids during the war, and the Zeppelin we saw in the film just now is a form of the blimp, and they were abandoned later on because they were too easy to shoot down, like a balloon.
Artillery weapons, such as the howitzers, also had a huge impact during the war. They were developed to be used under cover or against hidden targets. These fired heavy shells or on a high trajectory through a short barrel and were the best type of artillery guns to employ against fortifications. However, howitzers could fire shells weighing over 900 kg over 18 kilometers. The British Army also asked for heavy guns that were light enough to be pulled across the mud and shell-shattered ground.
Planes were also used for the first time during the World War. At first, they were used to deliver bombs